us to improve in some way, whether it's personally, emotionally, or professionally. Without further ado, Jodi, Michael Horn.
Well, I'm not really that cold. I have to take off my hat at the risk of having a bad hair day. Just didn't want to draw too much attention to myself because this speech is going to be delivered tomorrow morning at an elementary school. Yeah, baby. And I will be wearing these accoutrements. So, well, I think if you don't mind, I'm going to speak to you as though you are elementary school students at Buffalo Ridge Elementary. So thank you very much for having me here today. It is a great honor that your principal has had me here to talk to you and give you this message today. The topic is friendship. When I found out that the theme for the month of December at Buffalo Ridge is friendship, I was very excited because that is a topic that is very dear to me. How many of you have had a friend for longer than a year? What's the longest you've had a friend? Raise your hands. Any friend that you've had in your life? Bruce?
2 years.
2 years. Nikita?
4.
4. Wow. Well, I would guess a lot of you have had friends for several years, and some of you maybe even your whole lives. Would you believe that I've had some friends for 30 years? 30. Now, these are not just casual friends. They're not just the kind of friends that I call once a year to catch up with or plunk out an email just to say, hey, guess what? I got a new car. These are friends that are my actual life story friends. I call them up every week. We share life together. And that's not to say that a good friendship is only determined by how long you are friends with somebody, is it? In fact, my message today is going to focus on the kind of friend that you are. Who's seen the movie Cars? A few of you, probably most of you. Lightning McQueen starts out in that movie with all the fame and all the talent. He's the fastest race car in the country, isn't he? But he has no friends. Not a true friend to speak of. Can you believe that? All that fame, all that fortune, no friends. Well, I've seen it happen. Let me tell you about a guy named Michael. I knew Michael back in middle school, and he was the star football player. He was so popular, and we all know lots of popular people. People are popular for a lot of reasons. Sports, or how they look, or maybe how much money they have. Well, Michael was popular for pretty much all of the above. But one year, Michael decided that he didn't want to play football anymore. He was going to focus on studying. He cracked open the books, and he got great grades, and he was thinking about college. And guess what? A lot of his friends weren't really his friends. In fact, he had a lot fewer friends the next year because he was no longer a star football player. All the girls that were following him around stopped following him around. And all the guys that wanted to be at his lunch table, they didn't sit with him anymore. I have a feeling that Michael knew that might happen. He was a pretty smart guy. But he made that decision, and he knew who were his true friends. Who has seen the movie, back to movies, Harry Potter? Or read any of the Harry Potter books? I think most of us have. My favorite thing about those stories are the characters and the friendship they have. Ron, Hermione, and Harry. The three of them go through a lot, don't they? They fight trolls, dragons, Horcruxes, icky teachers. Well, they've got each other's backs. And they don't leave when the things get tough around each other, do they? They're there. They're there, and they fight with each other, and they get back together, but they're always there for each other. There's a word for that. It's called loyalty. Being loyal. Who can give me an example of how we can be loyal or show loyalty? Well, how about sitting at the lunch table with your friend, even though they got made fun of on the playground? Or maybe still staying friends with somebody, having them to your birthday party, even though they don't look as good as the friends with all the money and the cool clothes. That's being loyal. I'd like to tell you a story about one of my good friends from grade school. She was my best friend. We met on the first day of 3rd grade. We sat next to each other. Our teacher had us all sitting alphabetically in ABC order. And I can't tell you who was on my right that day, but on my left was Jenny. Now Jenny's mother bought her the best clothes. She was dressed perfectly every day, and I think her mother even ironed her shorts. This girl was perfect. She had blonde hair that was curled or braided or whatever style her mother chose to do that day. Jenny was perfect. She looked like a TV star, Debbie Ryan. I, on the other hand, wasn't so perfect. I had the straight brown hair. It was kind of messed up, or else it was just braids. And my mother, although she bought me a lot of nice clothes, I preferred comfort. One of my favorite dresses was a purple skirt, actually more of an outfit, a purple skirt that was fuzzy with a red button-up shirt and a big white collar. And that was what I liked. I wore that a lot. Jenny didn't say anything, at least not back then. But she hung out with me anyway, no matter what I looked like. And not only did we look kind of like opposites, but we acted like opposites. Jenny was the perfect prim and proper girl. She did the right thing at the right time. She wasn't very loud. I, on the other hand, well, I tried to do the right thing, but I was kind of a free thinker. I had big imagination, thought of crazy things to do, and I was very loud. Jenny, again, didn't seem to mind. We used to play on the playground all the time. It was Little House on the Prairie. I was Laura, she was Mary. Or we'd swing on the swings and sing at, well, at the top of my lungs. She'd sing along. Any songs from the popular musicals. Back then it was Sound of Music or Annie. I'm sure today it would be High School Musical or Glee. We also slept over at each other's houses a lot. And either on the floor or in her bed. She had a big double bed with a white canopy, of course. But we knew each other really well, and we shared secrets and giggled, and we even fought sometimes, but we stayed together. And we grew up. The older we got, the less we hung out in school, because we had different classes. But we still stayed friends. And that's the way it is, isn't it? You can be friends with somebody, even if you don't see them all the time. You're still there for each other. When we got to high school, we decided to take an ice skating class together, and that kind of renewed our friendship. That was a lot of fun. Then we went to college, got married, had kids, and she had twins. And she would call me up. Did I mention that I'm a twin? I'm a twin. And she had twins, so she would call me to ask what it was like being a twin. 6 years later, I had kids, and I had twins. So then I would call her and ask advice about how to be a mother to twins. We're still calling each other, talking about twins or anything. One time earlier this year, I decided to ask Jenny why she was friends with me way back when I looked kind of crazy and acted very crazy and was kind of opposite from her. I thought that was really interesting that a little girl would choose a friend like that was so different from her. And she said, I just thought you were fun. And that's kind of the bottom line, isn't it? She was loyal, and she picked the friends she liked. And I'm going to ask you to do the same. There's a saying that kind of reminds me of Jenny. It goes like this. A friend is a person who knows everything about you, but loves you anyway.
I think I've had the pleasure of watching Jodi go through the ranks from her first speech icebreaker through her competent communicator this evening. And I think those of us that been able to see this, wow comes to mind. And so congratulations, Jodi, for your competent communicator. Very nice.